Howdy, welcome to another Nonsense Wars production. Today we're taking a look at this RC car, which I had when I was a kid. It comes from Radio Shack, which sounds weird now, because they're dead. But back then, they made all sorts of stuff, including computers, and a lot of different RC cars. This retailed for $100 in 1998. You can tell its age, well, first from its Radio Shack, but also here it says you need a nickel cadmium battery, and those are just not allowed anymore. All right, so let's take a look at the car itself. It's nominally, but they don't say on the box, based on an Isuzu MU, which is a small pickup from that time, or SUV. It's covered in stickers, some of which are pretty funny, the best, but it does advertise one of the features it has. So let's take a look at the remote before we get to the car itself. It's two channels, forward, reverse, and left, right, but if you push the stick all the way forward, it goes into turbo. As far as we can tell, this is purely electronic, so it just sends more power to the motor. What isn't electronic is this, which is a high-low gearing switch. When you push this switch in while the motor is running, it will shift into high gear, which has less torque but a pretty significant boost to top speed. All right, let's take a look at the car itself. Let's rotate it around for you. All right, so the interesting stuff is underneath. So we've since lost the correct battery door, and this one is quite damaged by the weather, so I'm just going to rip it out here. But this holds a 9.6 volt, at the time nickel cadmium, now NiMH battery. It plugs in here. So a couple interesting things about this that probably uncommon for a kid's RC car. Independent front wheel suspension. Dependent rear wheel suspensions. You can see there's a shock in there, but there's a slot here, so this actually wiggles a little, and that's intentional so you don't lose grip going over bumps and stuff. Also a feature that might not be that common, but there's a differential, so I turn this and that, they turn slightly different speeds, so when you go through a turn, it doesn't get wheel skid, and you can kind of see that these wheels aren't really worn in the way you would expect from something sliding sideways. What is worn, of course, is the bottom, which received a lot of damage from driving over rocks and stuff. Other than that, the only other controls down here are the steering alignment. It's been repaired once before. It's kind of hard to see, but that shock mount cracked and has been wired back together.
Okay, this is an RC Nico Mercedes-Benz SLK 230, and this is an RC car I got when I was a kid, and it came out in 2002. And so it's got a traditional forward and backward, left, right, but you can see there's a low speed and a high speed, which, like the other car, I bet is fully digital. The killer feature on this is supposed to be the raisable roof, which is fully automatic, and you'll see that in some of the later footage. It doesn't work so well now, but it worked well when this car was new. Going on to the car itself, you can see the roof there, and you can see it's got a lot of dings on it from a lot of use. The lights used to work when it was new. They probably don't work anymore. This front bumper actually appears to be removable, so you can destroy the front of your car instead of the bumper, but I don't think I've ever taken it off. And other than that, you can see there's no differential on this. It's just fixed, so the turning performance isn't as good as something with a differential. There's the steering adjuster, and this is the new NiMH battery we bought. I don't know if the original was NiMH or nickel cadmium. And that's pretty much it.
So to give some more context, we had acquired these cars way back in middle school and had stored them for a long time. Both cars use the same type of 9.6 volt battery with the Tamiya connector, though the original cells had long since died. We recently found that we could buy a replacement pack on eBay for less than $20, and the NIMH cells would have more than double the capacity of the original NICD cells. These toys are a great example of why manufacturers should, and perhaps why manufacturers won't, make them with standardized replaceable batteries. Many comparably priced products today in the $100 to $200 range will have a sealed battery, probably a non-standard LiPo, that will almost certainly turn the toy into garbage when it dies. On the other hand, the two cars ran practically out of the box with the new battery, despite gathering dust for almost 20 years. To be fair, we did do a little, though perhaps optional work. We replaced the missing battery cover on the shaker with a piece of cardboard, which unfortunately disintegrated after it got wet. We also replaced the broken antenna on the Mercedes transmitter. We managed to find a part with compatible threads from another broken toy, though we still had to drill out the hole in the plastic casing to get the replacement to fit. Interestingly, despite using the exact same power source, the design and performance of the two vehicles vary considerably. The larger and heavier shaker goes faster in a straight line, perhaps thanks to its second mechanical gear. The smaller and lighter Mercedes handles better on a course, despite not having a differential and only electronic boost. The shaker did have a flakier transmitter, which may have affected the performance, but both cars impressed us in general. Remember that the Top Gear rally car falls in this same price range. Couple more tidbits here. The shaker actually came from a huge range of Radio Shack RC cars, and we found a digital copy of a 1998 catalog featuring tons of surprisingly varied products. You can also see the SLK's roof mechanism in action. I don't think it ever ran all that smoothly, but it certainly sticks a lot today. Retracting, of course, still works better than deploying. Finally, we had to jump through some hoops to actually charge the battery, as we could not find the charger from the shaker. On the other hand, the Mercedes came from overseas and with a 220 volt only wall wart. In the end, we powered the latter through an adapter and an insanely bulky transformer, which I may have had just for this purpose. Anyway, these miscellaneous videos are never that popular, but let us know in the comments if you had or wanted one of these in the past. On that note, this is the end of the video, so have a nice day.